Hello, everybody. So shortly after a black dark-skinned cosplayer at that, named Ash, unfortunately passed away due to suicide, with the main culprit being online bullying and racism, a lot of black cosplayers, and a lot of black people on the internet to a lot of different capacities, but mainly black cosplayers, because that's what this was surrounded by, talked about how they also experienced racism online, and so on and so forth. And then a black person on Instagram by the name of Mohawk Jones showed us how much his videos generate monetarily on TikTok, and then showed the views versus how much money he gets. And I don't think he's an anomaly situation. So the reason why I tied in Mohawk to one of the few people being transparent about how much money they make online. And we all know Instagram doesn't pay anything. Meta doesn't pay anything. And YouTube pays more, but YouTube is more strict, which is why a lot of people aren't here. And all of the disparagement going on across all of these platforms, the main thing of like cosplayers being told that the character they're cosplaying isn't black, as though that fucking matters. They also aren't real. My thing is like, a part of me is definitely like, well, have you considered turning off your comments? And I know that some people really are out here for the engagement. But you're out here for the engagement on a platform that really has you out here tap dancing for free. Not protecting you in any capacity from racism or any other form of hate. Just really out here dancing around in these elaborate cosplays for a few dollars or a few pennies per view, while being publicly degraded by racists online that you now have a lot to say about, which you've probably already had something to say about. It's just like the explosion of the concentration of the conversation happened around Ash's death. There are so few platforms that really give people the tools that they need to be able to really control their comment section. And I think that a lot of people got so caught up in talking about racism that we weren't really talking about how we can hold these platforms that allow this behavior accountable. And it's also a matter of seeing people who do speak out against, like, directly against comments that they get, like posting screenshots of the racist and misogynistic messages that they get, getting punished for posting the messages, but the person who sent the message doesn't see any punishment. So I'm all about solutions. So what can we do here? We can stop using the platforms that allow this abuse until they submit to giving us more comment section controls that make our lives easier, so people don't have to run around different comments and have to go and manually delete comments. We have word filters, but a lot of these platforms run by people who aren't subjected to this humiliation think that's enough. All these platforms are run by white men, mind you. The people, the same demographic who's doing it, those are the people who run it. Consider that before you consider anything else. We could do this the old-fashioned way. We could petition, have demands, have people sign the petitions. We could gravitate more towards platforms that have easier access to being able to delete comments, hide comments for review, stuff like that. Unfortunately, the only platform I can think of like that is YouTube, and a lot of people aren't even messing with YouTube, and of course YouTube has its own issues. But like, we talk a lot about problems, but like, what are the solutions? So the root of the problem is racism. Resolving systemic racism. But what can we do in the meantime? We're not going to resolve systemic racism fast enough to prevent things like Ash from happening again next week. So the way I see it, it is on these platforms to give creators more control over their comment sections, to make things easier to filter out comments, hold comments for review before they get posted, make it easier to delete comments, and whatever else anybody can think of. This is for public discussion. So that's my take on this. Because, like, honestly, I would rather people let their freak flags fly so I know who can get the wall. But they don't need to be able to be platformed in somebody's comment section. Because we're here to have fun. I think people really forgot about what the internet, what these platforms are for. We're here to have fun. And if people are disrupting the fun, those people need to be banished to the shadow realm. That's the point. So let's talk about solutions.